What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Stars Insiders podcast / show. On today's episode, I will be going over this really weird week 4 of Dallas Cowboys football. So, without any further ado, let's get straight to it, man. All right, so first up, I want to go over this one thing that I posted during the game, and I got just absolutely fried by every single one of y'all, and I wanted to just give my thoughts on that whole thing, because I posted about our offense being extremely stale, extremely boring in the first pretty much the entire first half. Not until that last drive of the second quarter was when our offense started to get going, and but before that, the offense looked terrible. We couldn't really move the football. I think our first drive was a 3-and-out, and we were playing really bad offensively. And I put out a post talking about how the offense looked terrible without CeeDee Lamb. And a bunch of y'all just started frying me, especially after the game, because our offense turned up. Our offense looked really good this game without CeeDee Lamb, which is really impressive. George Pickens had a absolutely insane game, had his breakout game as a Dallas Cowboy. Dak Prescott continued to play at an elite level. Javonte Williams continued to be a fucking demon. And yeah, I just wanted to go over that just real quick, because you motherfuckers was frying me in the comments, and I had to back myself up just a little bit. So, all right. So rallying off all of that, I want to talk about Dak Prescott and George Pickens. I mean, not even just that, just this entire offense. I honestly, they surprised me. I feel like it surprised almost all of us, except for maybe some of those really diehard delusional fans that thought we were gonna win by 40 but the offense really did surprise me. Dak Prescott continue to do his thing. Offensive line, huge shout out to the offensive line and the running backs and tight ends for taking care of the guys up front for the Green Bay Packers. They took really good care of Micah Parsons. They didn't allow but one crappy sack. I mean, it really wasn't a sack, for being honest. They allowed a couple of pressures, but I mean, it's gonna happen. It's Micah Parsons. They kept Edrin Cooper in check as a blitzer. They kept Rashawn Gary in check, and they took care of these guys in the middle. I think, what are their names? Carl Brooks and Devontae White, I think it was. They took really good care of that, and it's really impressive considering we have we have a pretty banged up offensive line without Tyler Booker, Cooper Beebe, and our tackles played well. Honestly, they had a whole bunch on their plate this game, and they performed pretty well, if we're being honest. They did get beat a good couple of times, but Dak Prescott just played really well. Was getting rid of the football really fast. Receivers pretty much every receiver on the team had a good couple of plays where they showed good stuff for this offense. And yeah, I really want to go over here some of this Dak and Pickens film, and I want to also look over at the offensive line as we're looking at Dak Prescott making these plays. And I won't really go over too much these other guys like Ferguson and Tolbert and Turpin and Flanoy, which huge shout out to Flanoy. You know what I'm saying? Flanoy FC. But I feel like everybody played really well. But really, I really just want to focus right now on Dak Prescott, offensive line, George Pickens, and really just look at the beauty of a game these guys provided for us. So let's get straight into it. All right, here we go. This is when our offense started to get going here. Let me see if I can go over this play here. This is just George Pickens being George Pickens. Before I go over the George Pickens catch, and we already know, I think we all know what this one is, no? The one where Dak just moonballed it to still a little moonball to George Pickens. He went up and caught it over two defenders. That was cool and all, but I really want to look over the offensive line here. All right. I want to look over the offensive line here. I feel like this is going to be a bit of a, I don't even know if it's a hot take for real, but Tyler Smith has honestly not been playing to the level that he's been playing in the past couple of years. This is one of the plays to kind of show and kind of not really, I'm not sure, but I want y'all to just watch this play here from Tyler Smith. He just gets beat here by Micah Parsons. They run sort of a little stunt here. They bring Micah Parsons over here to, I think this is B gap, to the A gap, or I don't even know. I don't know. I think this right here, the one where my cursor's at, I think this is A gap, B gap, C gap. They kind of bring him in over here towards A gap. They try to make a little stunt here, and then they bounce out the defensive tackle here. But watch Micah Parsons here against Tyler Smith. He just gets beat there, but Dak Prescott kind of bails him there, and then just throws an absolute dime there to George Pickens. But it's been a thing that I've been seeing that I feel like hasn't been talked about really at all, because we usually give Tyler Smith high praise because he's always been really, really good. But I feel like this season, on not on every play, but on a good handful of plays, Tyler Smith hasn't really looked as good as he's looked in the past. But he still does his thing pretty much all the time in pass protection and run blocking. He's been really good in run blocking. He's been also very good in pass protection. But there's been a couple of plays where I've been kind of questioning Tyler Smith's play here. So this is one of those plays, but it's whatever. Dak bailed him there and then just threw an absolute dime here. Let's watch this throw here from Dak Prescott to George Pickens. Just lobs it up there and then just come on, dog. George Pickens, man. Let me just slow this down a little bit, cause gosh, what a way to keep his feet in. What a way to just track the ball, bring the ball in, and make a George Pickens catch. It feels so good, man. Just remembering last year when we didn't have CeeDee Lamb, and then we have to watch Jalen Tolbert and Brandon Cooks be our wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 duo. That just sucked. But this George Pickens move has been, I feel like it's been paying off really well. The connection between Dak Prescott and George Pickens has been firing up more and more week after week. And this was the game where they just went crazy. George Pickens, I think he had 8 catches for like 138 and 2 touchdowns. And Dak Prescott he passed the ball a good amount of times, which kind of does suck, but it still was kind of balanced with the run game. We ran the ball a good amount of times, but Dak Prescott threw the ball like 40-something times for 319 yards, and I think it was 2 or 3 touchdowns. And he ran in for another touchdown. Just amazing play from these guys, and that's just one of the couple of plays that George Pickens and Dak Prescott just lit up this defense. So let's go on to this next play. This is again just Dak Prescott being really good at football. Pressure right in his face from the defensive tackle Brooks here. I think this was Brock Hoffman that got beat pretty good here. Terrence Steele got beat there, but I think he pushed Micah Parsons wide enough to where it really didn't get in he didn't really get in Dak Prescott's way. But this was the matchup on this play where pretty much just blew up the play. Not really blew up the play because Dak Prescott threw a dime here, but if this is another quarterback, this is an incompletion or a interception here. But just watch this. Dak Prescott pressure coming right in his face. Brock Hoffman gets beat there by Brooks, and then just throws an absolute beauty of a ball here by Kevontae Turpin. And Kevontae Turpin, again, one of the couple of guys that shined on Sunday. That had a beautiful toe tap catch here on the sideline for, what was that, 15 yards. I'm pretty sure this was a third down as well. Really good play here from Dak Prescott, just getting the ball to Turpin, and only where Turpin can catch this football. Just a beauty of a throw here from Dak Prescott, just bang. This is that touchdown throw here from Dak Prescott to Jake Ferguson. I just want you to watch Dak here. He does a really good job of looking away this middle safety. I think this is, if I'm not mistaken, that's Xavier McKinney. Does a really good job here. Looks right. I think he's faking that he's gonna go to Pickens here, but this is that touchdown throw to Jake Ferguson. Jake Ferguson runs a really good route here, kind of like it was a post here. He looks away the Dak Prescott here. I want you to watch Dak Prescott here first. Here we go, bottom of the screen. Snap the football. He has his eyes to his right side. Xavier McKinney has his eyes on Dak Prescott. And Dak Prescott looks off the safety for just enough time to get Jake Ferguson wide open here. He throws it with really good anticipation. He finds Jake Ferguson here in the hole of his own and just throws an absolute dime here to Ferguson, and a really good catch from Ferguson there too. I think that was his first touchdown since sometime, not even last year, the year prior. I think the last touchdown Jake Ferguson had was against the Packers last year. So really cool to see there from Jake Ferguson to get his first touchdown in a little while. But I feel like this is another really good player from Dak. So here's another showing of Dak Prescott being elite against the pass rush, elite under pressure. I think the pressure here comes from Micah Parsons on this left side. He kind of gets a little help here from Javonte Williams, but he still gets through. And Terrence Steele, I actually didn't. Just now I'm noticing Terrence Steele get put on his ass here. But Terrence Steele just got absolutely bodied from Lucas Van Ness. But Dak Prescott does a really good job here of kind of feeling that pressure and stepping up in the pocket and finding George Pickens here, and then putting the ball on the money there for George Pickens and converting a huge third down here. I think this was was actually a fourth down in the fourth quarter here. Just another really good play here from Dak Prescott. Just feeling that pressure coming in here from Lucas Van Ness, getting up in the pocket, finding Pickens, and then just throwing a dot here for a first down. So that's a quick one, but let's go on to this next play. This one right here is just more of George Pickens being really good at football. I think Micah Parsons gets pressure here on Dak, and then he just forces Dak to get rid of that football pretty quickly there to George Pickens. But George Pickens does a amazing job here of coming back for that football and then just putting this dude on skates. Does not allow him to do anything there, and then just gets in there for his second touchdown of the day. Really good play there from Pickens, and it feels good because I really didn't think the Cowboys we're gonna get him as involved as he was involved, just because of what I saw last week. George Pickens was involved a decent little bit, but for the most part, for the most of last week's game, I mean, Pickens wasn't really a factor in that second half at all. Apart from that scoring drive, I think Pickens had like 2 or 3 catches that one drive. They just didn't include him in the offense, and I thought it was gonna be the same thing this game. That's why I was kind of iffy. I was like, we could stay close with the Packers, but we didn't show too much last week, so I'm kind of worried of how this game could end up going. But this game ended up going, again, completely different to what I thought it was going to. And I mean, it's huge props to Coach Schottenheimer of adjusting and getting the ball to his playmakers, getting the ball to his receivers, just putting the game in Dak Prescott's hands, and great things happen, man. So let's go on to this next play. Now here we go with this play. This is one of the biggest plays, if not the biggest play of the game here, and this just shows Dak Prescott just being elite once again and showing off that elite accuracy, elite playmaking ability from Dak Prescott. Just Turnstile gets bodied here by Lucas Van Ness once again, but Dak Prescott does a really good job here of getting outside the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield, even with Micah Parsons right in his face, keeping his eyes downfield, and then just launches that fucking ball, launches that fucker. And let's talk about Jalen Tolbert, dog. I mean, he was really a non-factor the entire game up until this play, which is one of Jalen Tolbert's biggest problems, is his inconsistency and his inconsistent play. But I mean, once in a while, Jalen Tolbert pulls out these plays out of his ass and then just keeps his roster spot. But here, this I can't get over this throw. This is an absolute beauty of a throw here from Dak Prescott. Just bang, he gets absolutely drilled there by, I don't know who 96 is. But not only was that a really good ball, but just a really, really good job here from Jalen Tolbert to come back for that football and then just get his feet in bounds and put the Cowboys in really good field position. But after this was just absolutely atrocious because we didn't run the football at all. Or I think we did. I'm not sure. I think we probably ran it on first down and then we got stuffed. And then Schottenheimer got scared there, and that's something that we just cannot have happening from this offense. We need to run the football. I think Javonte Williams was again averaging like 4+ yards a carry, and they just refused to run the football here. This is on the third down. This play is not available. All right. Well, I can't go over that play, but we got to run the football there. Javonte Williams is playing really good this game, and I really don't see the reason why you just don't keep feeding the ball to Javonte Williams. And him being really good in those goal line situations, I feel like he could have punched it in. If not, he could have got you real close, and then he could have probably sneaked in it with Dak Prescott there. And that is one of the couple of mistakes there from Coach Schottenheimer. In this offense where they just, I'm pretty sure, I'm not 100%, but I'm pretty sure they got stuffed on that first down, and then they try to run it on, not run it, they try to run a pass play on both second and third down, and then they just got 3 and out, kicked a field goal, and then tie game. Yeah, it's just, you just gotta run the football there. There's really no excuse to not run the football there, and I don't know what to say. You just have to run the football there and give Javonte Williams the shot. Even if he got stuff there on that first down, the offensive line was playing really good the entire game. I don't see why you don't give them just another shot of just getting in the end zone. bringing in your big tight ends, bringing in Spafford, bringing in Schoonmaker, bringing in Hunter Lupke, and then just running it in. But it didn't happen, and we kicked a field goal, and then the Packers offense went on the field and they kicked a field goal, and then we tied the game. So it was a really good game from this offense. Apart from those first 2 quarters of football, they played pretty mediocre football in my opinion. But apart from that, first quarter and another 3 quarters of the second quarter, a lot of quarters, but apart from that little bit, that sort of pretty much that first half, the offense surprised me a good bit. Again, especially because I didn't think, like I said before, I didn't think Pickens was gonna get involved as much. I really thought it was gonna be like a Ferguson and Javonte Williams just workload game, but nope. Schottenheimer had a different thought, a different opinion on that, and they did a really good job this game. Shouts out to the offense. And now let's get over to the defense, which surprisingly wasn't as bad. First, I want to talk about Ezeraku, because that was one of my main points last week in this past episode, where I talked about Ezeraku, and I wanted him to really get going this game, and he really got going this game. Ezeraku had honestly a really good game. Not as a pass rusher. I watched this film as a pass rusher. He still looked a little rough on a couple of occasions, but he did well, honestly, as a pass rusher. He applied pressure on Jordan Love a couple of times, not a whole bunch of times, but he did apply pressure on him. I feel like I saw more from him with his moves as a pass rusher. But what really kind of shocked me was his ability as a run defender this game. Go over these couple of plays here from Donovan Ezeraku. He played really aggressive. We saw that from the Bears game, and that's why I started talking about Donovan Ezeraku, because I saw him hit like a different gear. I saw him play a different type of football against the Bears. I feel like I saw him running all over the place and making plays, running after Caleb Williams and stuff, and that's what kind of got me excited for this game, because I saw really good things against the Bears, and then I saw really good things from him this game as well. This was kind of his not even mini breakout. This was a really good game. I feel like we haven't seen his breakout just yet, and we're getting super, super, super close to that Ezeraku just monster game. But this is just a little taste of what Ezeraku brings to the table as a run defender. Again, that's just really shocking, because he isn't. I feel like we just didn't talk about him at all as a run defender. We talked about him a lot as a pass rusher, because that is his main thing, is rushing the passer. But this game did a really good job as a run defender. He is on this left side here, kind of bang. Great job, just sitting that block there against this guard here, and then just wraps up for the tackle here on Josh Jacobs. I was on a couple of plays, and then here is another one here. Again, he just did a really good job of just shedding blocks and being aggressive at the point of attack, and he was just making plays, play after play. He was a very willing tackler this game. I just feel like I love his aggression. He just plays a different type of football that I feel like we haven't seen from these edge rushers. Except for Sam Williams. At times, I feel like we see Sam Williams be a pretty aggressive dude and do pretty cool things as a run defender. But this game from Ezeraku was just something else. And this is one of the plays where this one got me really hyped up for Ezeraku, but was a penalty, and he got a little too emotional on this play. But this is still a really good play here. He kind of reads this little screen they have going here to Matthew Golden. He kind of sits there, waits to see what the quarterback is going to do. He runs after Golden. Golden comes back. Golden gets kind of hit there from Leafau and Clowney. They don't get him down fully. And then as Zaraku comes in, bang! Just sits his ass down, and then he just kind of punches him at the end, which generates the flag. But this was another really, really good play, I feel like, from Donovan Zaraku. And if we keep seeing things like this from Zaraku, man, the sky's the limit, dog. Especially once he fully unlocks his pass rush ability in the NFL. I feel like that's going to be huge for this defense. Moving on to another part of the defense now, was I feel like we didn't play terrible. I feel like the score showed something, but we didn't play terrible. Apart from a couple of big plays over the top, like this one was kind of sort of over the top, but not really. But apart from just a handful of plays, that first play to Matthew Golden, apart from that, and I can't really think of another one. This one sort of, but we didn't really allow huge plays in the air, which that was like my main concern coming into this game. Was just being able to guard these receivers, and I feel like we did a pretty decent job of that. But the underneath stuff was kind of the thing that killed us there. But let's go over this play here. This is just another one of those confusing plays here from the safeties and cornerbacks. Kind of see Donovan Wilson come down here. This is some sort of like one high, but they just leave the middle wide open, and I feel like we've seen that way too many times with this Cowboys defense, where they're playing some sort of like one high safety or even too high at times, where they just leave stuff in the middle wide open. I don't know if this is a linebacker problem. I don't know if this is a corner problem or a safety problem, but this has been an issue for the Cowboys defense for a good couple of games now, and on a good couple of plays. It's just this kind of over the middle stuff, and that continued to be sort of a problem. Not really a huge problem though, because we did a pretty decent job, I feel like, against the pass this game. Just not really the underneath stuff once again. Let's go on to that. Let's talk about that just a little bit here. Kind of want to go over these couple of plays here from the Cowboys where they just allowed a bunch of stuff underneath here, and this was one of them. This is one of those little dump offs here to the running back, and then the defense just did a really poor job of tackling, and I think that was one of the biggest things. I feel like if the defense could tackle this game, we could have allowed a whole lot less of these types of plays. And here we go again. It's just poor tackling from really everybody. Leafau there missed a tackle. Carrillo missed a tackle. Wanye kind of makes that play there, but it was a huge issue for the Cowboys. This game was that was one of the biggest issues defensively, was tackling. Apart from that, I really don't think we played bad against those over the top type of plays. And one of the things that I kind of feel like we played a whole lot worse than I thought we would was was against the run. I feel like we didn't play terrible against the run, but stats showed a little otherwise. I think Josh Jacobs had like 85, 90 yards this game, and that kind of killed us there too a little bit. But I think the biggest thing this game was just the inability of the Cowboys to tackle on a good handful of plays. And I think this is the one play again where the defense just couldn't tackle anything. They just couldn't grab onto freaking nobody here. I think this is that one play where Josh Jacobs just runs through everybody here. It's just a little dump off here to Josh Jacobs. Not entirely, but that was still a rough play there from the linebackers. But I was looking over this because I feel like I saw a couple of plays where not a couple, but I feel like I saw that one play where Josh Jacobs, I don't know if it was Josh Jacobs, I don't know if it was Savion, it might have been Savion Williams actually. Let me see. I can't find those plays. They don't have the full game. NFL Pro doesn't have the full game like open to the public, I guess. But there was, I feel like I vividly remember those plays where they kind of dumped the ball off to the sideline, kind of like the little edge, and then they just took off and got like 15-20 yards a couple of times. The Packers did. That's just the thing that was one of the things that killed us. I think that was probably the biggest thing defensively that killed us. It's just a whole bunch of underneath stuff was given up, and a whole bunch of the screen game was, I think, probably the biggest thing that killed us this game. Passing wise, it's just those little screen passes that Jordan Love was throwing, and they just took it for like 15-20 yards. But apart from that, I feel like the defense played a whole lot better than what I felt like they were going to. I felt like they were just going to be passing the I felt like it was going to be just a replay of the wild card game where the defense just couldn't guard a soul. But it wasn't. It was different. We still got our ass beat, but in a different way. And it's still concerning because we still give up 40 points, but played better. They sort of played better somehow, some way. I don't even know how to explain it, but I feel like the defense played better football. But yeah, that's really all I have for today's video. It was a really weird game, really weird game. From the tie to, just everything. I did not expect this game to go this way. I predicted that it was going to be a closer game than expected, but I feel like we were going to lose. I felt like the Packers were going to make too many plays. They were going to make a whole lot more plays than us, and I felt like that was the thing that was going to get us beat. But no, the Cowboys kept up with this Packers offense. The Cowboys played really well against, quote unquote, the best defense in the NFL. They hung up 40 points on the quote unquote best defense in the NFL, which is that's just really good to see, man. But yeah, that's really gonna be it for today's video. Next episode I'll probably be previewing Cowboys Jets, which should be fun. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys stayed through. If you guys stayed through to this video, thank you guys so much. I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, if y'all have anything positive or negative to say about the podcast, drop it in the comments. And yeah, I love y'all boys. God bless each and every single one of you beautiful souls. And yeah, I'll see y'all boys, man. Peace.